Hi, my angels. How's everyone doing? I hope well. If you're new here, thanks so much for giving me a chance. I appreciate it. Please hit that subscribe button. It just helps my channel to grow. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much. Your support means everything to me. You know how I feel about you guys. Also, before we begin anything, I just wanted to let you guys know that Ray Moon ASMR just hit 100,000 subscribers. And Jeannie B, that's Jeannie B ASMR, is really close. So if you like my videos, you'll like hers, I promise. She has such a beautiful, soothing voice. Please head over, have a look. If you haven't subscribed to her channel, please consider doing it. I would never recommend someone I don't listen to myself. And I listen to both of them. So. All right, now back to us. So I hope everyone's been doing well. I've had a few down days. Just ill. Just could not get my act in gear. But tonight we're going to do a reading from this new book, Chicken Soup for the Soul, Attitude of Gratitude, Amy Newmark. And hello, Candy. I thought we would enjoy this. If you're new here, I pick books that have little or no illustrations to read so that you guys can just tune out, close your eyes, and drift off to sleep. You know, my voice can just drone. You can listen to the story if you want. It's completely up to you. So let's get you comfortable. All right. So the first thing you need to do, let's get your lighting the way that you like it. Whether you like it light or dark, a sliver of light, a night light, whatever you like. I only have one rule. Everybody's yelling it at the camera right now. No lit candles. If you're trying to sleep or relax, it's too dangerous. I do have electric candles. I didn't turn them on tonight though. Also, make sure that you're in a comfortable spot, whether it's a couch, your bed, a chair, a hammock, cushions on the floor, whatever you like. It's up to you. This is all about you. Yes, guys, the nails had to come off. I popped off 3 of them, so because I was telling everyone I had to wear that Holter monitor. Boy, did I make a big deal out of nothing. The thing was smaller than my phone. I was remembering like 30, 40 years ago when my mom wore one. And she had to wear it for a few days. I only had to wear it for 2 days. The problem, I'm allergic to the medical tape that they used. So when it came off, I was dying. I'm covered in a rash. So I was using alcohol pads, micellar water, anything I could think of that would take off the adhesive. When I happened to look down in the sink and saw 3 nails floating up. So then I just took the rest off too. So yeah, no nails, sorry guys. So if you found your comfortable spot and you've got your lighting, do you need a cover? I have my blanket for my legs. Oh, you like my new nightgown? Love yourself. And I mean that. Okay guys, comfy? Good. Now, we're gonna do our breathing. And again, if you're new here, we always do our deep breathing when we need to relax. The reason we do that is to turn it into a routine. By making it a routine, our bodies come to expect it, and they realize when we're doing this, we relax. So it helps when you want to sleep, when you want to relax, when you're having a panic, when you feel that starting, that tightness, do your deep breathing. And what we do is we breathe in through our nose for a count of 4. We gently hold for a count of 4. And then we breathe out through our mouth for a count of 4. If you can. If you can only do 1 or 2, you do you, boo. That's all you need. Okay, this is not a contest. Okay, so let's do the first set together. Remember? 3, 4. Hold. And out. Good. The next set. Hold. And out. Very good. And now last set. Hold. begin reading. Just to let you know, tomorrow I'm gonna try to do a really positive affirmation, and somebody requested the light, so I'm gonna try to combine the two together, and I'll still try to do maybe a guided meditation tomorrow night for everybody. Okay, so let's get to reading. Okay. And yes, I picked large print for me. Okay, so chapter 1, Count Your Blessings. This one's called The Rolls. Okay, so it says, the life that counts blessings discovers it's yielding more than it seems. And that's by Anne Vonskamp in 1000 Gifts Devotional. Okay. The horn on my mother's car tooted from the driveway, but I didn't move. I was propped up in bed, my splinted legs set atop pillows, while I browsed the internet from my laptop. It was my only means of escape from the hours I spent sulking. Day after day for 3 years, I holed up in a 10 by 12 foot bedroom in my mother's house. I had undergone 7 unsuccessful surgeries and a slew of complications to combat degenerating bone and soft tissue ruptures in my feet and ankles. The prospect of getting back on my own 2 feet was dimming. I felt lost, broken. My days of playing tennis and taking bike rides and long walks on the beach seemed like a lifetime ago. I mourned for the old me who I feared was dead and might never be resurrected. Kath, you're missing a beautiful day outside. My mother's cheery, enthusiastic footsteps charged up the stairs into my dimly lit bedroom. Let's take a spin in the rolls. In the what? I swept my gaze away from the computer and into the hall. I was waiting for my mother's body to catch up with her voice, much the way the sound of thunder chases a burst of lightning. The Rolls Royce, she's a beauty, Mom said. I picked her out myself. She burst through my bedroom door, beaming. She clapped her hands together like 2 cymbals. Come on, up and at 'em. I watched as she dug into my dresser drawers. She yanked out a clean pair of sweatpants and a t-shirt and threw them my way. They landed draping like curtains over the laptop monitor. Let's go, she said. I didn't move. Mom reached for my crutches. They loomed a good 4 inches over the wisps of her poofy blonde hair. Come on, you're being sprung from your cell. I happen to like my cell. Well, don't worry, it'll still be here when we get back, my mother said, and she propped the crutches against the bed. Then she leaned over and pulled the pillows from beneath my splinted legs. Mother, please, I fought. Maybe later, okay? But the Rolls is top of the line, light as a feather. Even you can lift her. She's got high-tech lumbar support and these padded long leg extensions. Come on, we'll take her for a spin in the park. Let's get some fresh air. I suddenly connected the dots to this mysterious Rolls talk. It was a wheelchair, the very thing I had been resisting. You heard what the doctor said. It's bad enough about your feet, but it's even worse with the tendons in your hands and arms from always using these crutches, she said. You can't just give up like this. I flailed my arms and shouted, leave me alone. My words fired, curt and fierce. As my gaze bore through her, I spied a sense of my own defeat and disappointment etched on her face. Neither my mother nor I said another word about the Rolls for weeks afterwards. We didn't have to. My mother's positioning of the Rolls in the garage, beneath my cobwebbed bicycle and tennis racket on the wall, spoke volumes. Every time I piled into her car so she could drive me to the doctor, to physical therapy, or to the pool, I'd gaze at the Rolls through the windshield. It was cloaked in a white bed sheet, shrouded it as if it were a ghost or some sort of sacred statue waiting for its official unveiling. My mother knew me well enough to know that the sight of the Rolls would eventually wear me down. Yet I remained resistant to the whole idea that what it represented for my life. If I started to rely on a wheelchair, I feared that might mean my disability had won. But every time I spied the Rolls, I knew I'd have to find some way to let go of my pride in order to transcend my physical limitations. I'd have to start accepting help from a wheelchair or from other people if I ever wanted to live again. After dinner one night a few weeks later, my mother asked what I wanted for my 27th birthday. I swallowed hard when I told her I'd like to go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art in nearby New York City to see an exhibit, and then maybe go for lunch at an overpriced Manhattan restaurant. All of this would be her treat, of course. With my pronouncement, my mother dropped our dirty dinner plates into the kitchen sink. They landed with a clatter. "Oh, and just how do you propose to accomplish such a feat?" Pun intended, she grinned as an aside. "I mean, the Met's enormous, with lots of long corridors. How do you intend to do all that walking and standing?" She turned to face me, crossed her arms, and leaned against the kitchen counter as if bracing herself for battle. "The rolls," I said. "You win, Mother." "No, Kath, don't you get it? It's you who's gonna win." It wasn't until my mother pushed me, seated in the rolls, upon the smooth marble floors, set below the high vaulted ceilings of the Metropolitan Museum of Art, that I realized how much I'd missed a sense of motion and speed those 3 years. The ability to get somewhere quickly without having to hobble, step by painful step on crutches. The dreariness of all the time I'd spent confined to that 10 by 12 room, dissolved amid the sprawling, ornate stateliness and beauty that surrounded me at the Met that day. That moment held as much excitement for me as riding a roller coaster, where I thrust up my arms into a V shape of victory. That's a nice story. Let's see if we can find another one. This one is called The Right Words, and it's called Logical. "Love as powerful as your mother's for you leaves its own mark." J.K. Rowling. I blink away the tears as the two of us walk through the parking lot. The afternoon sun warms the blacktop around us, making the cool autumn air seem not so bad. But the news I just received is bad. Really bad. Well, not like somebody is dying bad, or even my boyfriend dumped me bad. I should keep that in mind. But still, my social life is as good as dead, and my boyfriend will probably dump me, so there's that. Our green minivan is still several spaces away. Mom told me to park there away from the other cars when we arrived before the appointment. Logical. After all, I'd only had my permit for a few months, and I haven't exactly mastered parking yet. But right now, I hate the remote parking logic. I just want to get inside the beast of a car, sink into the gray upholstery, and have a good, illogical cry. There is no good reason for these tears. They make no sense. I know that, but I don't care. Mom cares a lot about logic. She's an accountant. She has a certain way of doing things, a logical way, a way that makes sense. My mom always has a good reason for what she's doing. So I hide these stupid tears from Mom. She won't understand. We're halfway there. The outline of the minivan swirls in my vision. It's no use. I'm not going to make it. A single tear slips down my cheek. Mom fumbles for the keys in her purse. "You should drive. We have to stop at the bagel place off the highway. It'll be a good experience." She taps the key softly against my left arm. "Here." My left arm carries my school bag, so I pivot to grab the keys in my right hand. I say nothing. I can't, not with this gigantic lump in my throat. As I turn, Mom gets a glimpse of my face. I look down at the pavement. Maybe she won't notice my red, watery eyes. No such luck. Mom stops and put her hand on my arm again. "What's wrong?" she asks. I lift my chin, but there's literally no way for me to get out the answer. Her brows furrow and her lips frown. Here comes a well-deserved, perfectly logical perspective check. She's going to tell me the truth. My jaw is out of alignment. My teeth don't line up. I get headaches every day, and when I sleep, I don't sleep dearly. So I'm tired all the time. She's going to tell me what the orthodontist would tell me. I need to wear headgear all day, every day for the next few months. That's the only way that's going to fix the problem. And she's going to be right. I sniffle a bit, look at the ground and wait. She's going to say a bunch of things that make sense. This is for the best. It's only for a few months. It's not the end of the world. She's going to say what I need to hear. I take a deep, rattly breath and wait and steady myself. Only I'm wrong. Mom doesn't say a word. Instead, she pulls me close, wrapping me in a fierce hug. And she starts to cry. And that doesn't make any sense. My mom doesn't cry illogical tears in a parking lot. She doesn't get emotional over stupid stuff like obviously needed orthodontic procedures. Does she? Her sniffles let my sobs loose. Together we cry and hug right there, 3 spaces from our ugly green minivan. After a minute or two, I say, "This is dumb, I know." "No, it's not," says Mom. "It's not?" She smiles. "I was 15 once, you know. I understand." She does? "I'm going to tell the orthodontist to find another way," she shrugs. "Or we'll get another orthodontist. Don't worry." "Really?" "Really." Mom holds out her hand. "But maybe I should drive this time." Logical. After all, I've only had my permit for a few months. And I'm not allowed to drive with a friend in the car. Aw, that's nice. As a mom, you always want to hear that you're a friend as well. I know you're parent first, but sometimes you want to be the friend. Here's a nice one. How gratitude saved my life. And the quote before it is, "The unthankful heart discovers no mercies, but the thankful heart will find in every hour some heavenly blessings." By Henry Ward Beecher. For many years, I ran away when life became unbearable. I did whatever I could to escape emotional pain. It was worse when I became a pain pill addict. When I finally got clean, I told another recovering addict about how I would get high when times were rough. She told me to do a gratitude list when it happened again. "What good will that do? Will it make my problems go away?" she asked. She simply replied, "Try it." A couple of months later, my world as I knew it was over, or so I thought. As autumn turned to winter, I struggled financially. It was hard to pay bills and hard to put food on the table, but I managed. I often had anxiety attacks just thinking about my expenses and the need to buy Christmas presents. On Sunday night in November, I walked in the door from a long day. The kitchen was dark, which was strange because I had always left a light on. I brushed it off as forgetfulness. As I started up the stairs, I flipped the light switch. Nothing. The bulb must be out, I thought. I felt my way upstairs to the bathroom and the bedroom. Neither of those lights worked either. I was concerned. What were the odds that all the lights had blown? I went downstairs and tried all the lights. Some lights worked, but not others. I went through the checklist of problems my dad had taught me. The bill was paid, the neighbors had lights, and nothing was blown in the breaker box. When turning each breaker off and then back on didn't fix anything, I knew I had a bigger problem. I called a friend to see what he thought. After I told him I checked all the usual problems, he said the words I didn't want to hear. "You're going to have to call an electrician." Now, anyone who's owned a house or had to call a repair person knows it's not cheap, especially for an emergency on nights and weekends. This was both. When I bought the house a couple of years earlier, I needed an electrician to fix a few problems that the inspector had found. My dad had suggested a company he knew and trusted, so I called them. While fixing the problem, they discovered and fixed a separate issue that could have burned down my house. I was so grateful that I told everyone I knew about them. So I gave them a call again. When the electrician was in the basement, I sat in the darkened kitchen surrounded by candles. I was on the verge of having a panic attack. I worried about how I'd pay for this repair, and I knew the check was going to bounce. I felt so powerless and not in control, and I hate that feeling. And then I thought about walking to the drug dealer's house next door and buying something. I stood up, took a step towards my shoes, and then stopped. "No, I can't," I said. Just then I heard a quiet voice telling me to do a gratitude list. I dismissed it, thinking it wouldn't fix anything. But the voice in my head grew louder, more demanding. "Sit your ass down and do a gratitude list now, damn it," the voice commanded. Out of sheer fear for what I just heard, I sat down and did what the voice said. I thought really hard about something, anything for which I was remotely grateful. I started with being grateful I had woken up that day. Next, I remembered the furnace and hot water tank were both still working. That led to being grateful. And I don't have to stay at someone's house tonight and leave my 2 dogs and 2 cats behind. I was grateful for that. I was grateful when I heard the refrigerator turn on because I knew I wasn't going to lose all that food that I had just bought. And I realized the stove worked. I could cook dinner even though it would be by candlelight. Just as I finished the last thought, the kitchen lit up. The problem was fixed. Great. How am I going to pay for it, I thought. When the electrician came up from the basement, he said the problem was a bad connection that needed cleaning. Phew, it was nothing major. Then, like ripping the Band-Aid off really quick to avoid the pain, I said, "So what's the damage?" "Nothing," he said. What do you mean, nothing?" He went on to say that after his company worked on my house a couple of years earlier, I recommended them to so many people that they got a lot of business, and this was their way of paying me back. As much as I hate crying in front of people, I couldn't hold back the tears. A couple of them snuck out of my eye and rolled down my cheek. As he was leaving, I thanked him profusely. When I closed the door, I stood in the kitchen thinking, what if I hadn't called this company? What if I had put on my shoes, gone next door and bought some dope and gotten high? What if? I thought of all the bad things I could have done, but didn't. My heart filled with so much gratitude when I thought about the choice I had made to listen to that voice of reason. Since that night, whenever times get tough, doing a gratitude journal has saved me from doing something I'll regret later. It hasn't made things rainbows and unicorns, but it does help me find the blessings in the mess. Stephanie Stafford. Okay, I think that's a great thought to go to sleep with, don't you? And just so you guys all know, I'm very, very grateful for you. I'm grateful that we have this time together. I am grateful that you guys leave comments, that you share posts. I'm grateful that you subscribe. I'm grateful that I get to interact with you. And I've always said this, it makes the world smaller for us. I love the ASMR community. I really do. So, as always, guys, I love you. I value you. I honor you. And I am so very, very glad that you were born.